Welcome back to the Stag Raw podcast, Life Less Ordinary. This time we're joined by Sam Harvey at Cloudlander_NZ on Instagram. Sam is currently the New Zealand Backyard Ultra record holder, but for 677 kilometres or 101 yards, he was the assist for the world record Backyard Ultra. Just done there in Decal Valley in Australia. Weapon. And you know what's better? Whilst I'm recording this intro, Sam's still at it down there in Christchurch on the crazy, because he is crazy, ultra down there at Bottle Lake. I see Eddie Dawkins dusting off the running shoes. A bit different to riding around the boards of the velodrome. Eddie Dawkins, good on you, mate. As well as Hal's Woodworth, she's crewing for Sam and a couple of others there. Chris and Adam Keane, love it. It's nuts, but it's awesome. Anyway, if you're after some of Sam's sponsor, the Currans, and I see they also are sponsoring Simon Cochrane as well, you can use Harvey for 20% off. Yeah, good on you, Currans. Helping to support things. But also Sam is part of I Am Hope, and he has the link there to his Give a Little page. By the time we recorded this podcast, he was up to sort of 20k for I Am Hope. Sam is an ambassador for I Am Hope. Amazing work that they do for youth in New Zealand, counselling for those that need it. No questions asked. Of course, Gumboot Friday, the work of Kane Briscoe as well. He's big and keen on Gumboot Friday. Yeah. If you've got a few spare dollars, slap it on that link to Give a Little. Cheers, everybody. We've cracked 1,000 subscribers on the old Spotify's. Spotify's not even our biggest platform, so that's pretty cool. I think it's about 60% on Apple iTunes. So, yeah. 1,000 on Spotify. What do we got here? It's about to tell us. Slow internet down here. Oh, jeepers. We've had 2 more since I looked. We're 1,005. You legends. Thank you so much. I think we're about 66 or 67 reviews, though. So if you're one of that 1,005, if you could go and slap 5 stars, that'd be much appreciated. It's the usual story. About 5% of people leaving reviews on no matter how big the platform is, but of course, we're chasing the Keep Change fellas. They're smashing it at about 1,500 reviews. So I think they've got more reviews than we've got subscribers. No, what an awesome platform, Keep the Changes. Our body knows how to heal, but as we age, it can sometimes struggle to keep up, and injuries, aches, and pains come knocking. Kane's Deer Velvet is packed full of amazing nutrients that the body uses in maintaining the immune system, bones, joints, circulation, and general well-being. Simply replenish the nutrients. Healing happens, and you are left to get on with living your life to the full. Find out more at www.canesdeervelvet.com. Use that code STAGRAW252 to get yourself 20% introductory discount. Thanks so much. I've emailed Drink Element, so we'll see how we go there, see if we can figure out a way to keep that coming into New Zealand. And of course, speaking of black currants, drink Arepa, the world's smartest brain food, 100% natural, caffeine-free effects you can feel. Use the code STAGRAW at checkout for 20% off your order. We had the Mindful Morning there last week. I've put up a reel of that on Ryan O'Connor NZ. Of course, I wrote about it in the newsletter. You can slap the Join the Community link there, which I see is not actually working, so I'll have to redo that one. Join the community and get your hands on that email about every fortnight on About Monday. Just a few things that are going on, a few awesome links and cool stuff that I've been looking into. So yeah, make sure you join the community, and I'll make sure that link is actually working. Right. Make sure you're following Cloudlander NZ. That'll get rid of any excuses you've got. It's a bit like following Simon Cochrane, Carl Reid. Yeah, it's good to have these people. Ian Evans. List goes on. Mere mortals is what they make you feel like. And let's enjoy this episode. What are we up to? We're up to 295, I think. Yeah. 5 to go until we hit 300. Fantastic. Enjoy. Sam Harvey, welcome to the Stag Roar, mate. I've got some bloody notes for you.
You got some notes. That's a good start.
Yeah, I
Good to see you, Ryan.
did the rounds on the old social media. Thought, what are some questions you other crazy people out there have for an equally crazy person like Sam? One of the people that was over there in Australia with you, Helen Woodworth. Had you met Helen before?
Yeah, I've done a bit of running with Helen in the past. She's a firefighter, and my dad's a career firefighter, and I'm a volunteer. So yeah, we're kind of in the same circles.
Oh, fantastic! Yeah. Now, we've had Helen on the podcast twice now, before and after Revenant. That must
Hey,
be ticking in your bucket list, although that's over a distance, mate, not running around in a circle.
no, it doesn't appeal to me in the slightest. Everybody keeps on trying to get me interested, but honestly, I spent enough years shepherding, chasing cattle and sheep around South Island tussock country that it just sounds as though it sounds like 2 or 3 days worth of work and no pay. And yeah, fuck that. I don't enjoy tussock hill country at all.
And no dog and to join you as well.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, he'd be up for it, but I'm sure that's outside the rules. But
I hear there's lots of deer in that bush as well, so that might distract you.
that would definitely distract me.
Yeah, the Nokamai, I think it is. They're diving into. What is it? Four times over? No, probably 8 times over. Bloody ridiculous.
Yeah, no. There's plenty of races in this world, and that's not on my bucket list.
Yeah. So how long were you shepherding for?
Uh, yeah, so I guess I'm from a farming background, and I did a undergraduate and a postgraduate degree out of Lincoln University. Yeah, I mean, I've kind of been shepherding on and off since like, I don't know, 2011 maybe, and 2011 until like 2015 or 16.
Mm-hmm.
And then yeah, I mean, I've got out on a couple of stations here and there in between. So yeah, no, chased a few sheep, chased a few cattle around the traps, and that's been in Southland and in Canterbury and the likes.
So is that where you got yourself some mighty stags shorts?
Where have you seen them? Shit.
That was on your Instagram. I commented on the photo. I said, "Nice shorts, man." Yeah.
Oh, sorry, I just thought that was some random weirdo.
Oh, I am.
Obviously was some random weirdo, but yeah, no, good spotting. I've actually got the full stags kit. Yeah, luckily, old CCC. I'm not sure if CCC still have the contract to make the Southland Stags kit, but yeah, we've got a good CCC shop in Christchurch, and yeah, that's where I pulled that treasure out of, and I was that was kind of my training kit while I was over in the US. I had a big red stag on the chest, and the Americans they love that.
Yeah. So you never donned the Southland colours?
Uh, the closest to that was I played for Tianau in 2015. I played for their Div 1 boys
Mm-hmm.
for half a season.
How who'd you play for in Christchurch?
In Christchurch, my home club is Springston.
Yeah.
So yeah, I've played for Springston since I was like 13 or 14. Up until senior grades, and right up until I kind of gave up the sport maybe 2 years ago. Also, when I was a youngster, from like, I don't know, under six or under sevens through to like under 11s, I played for West Melton.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, Springston's my home club.
Yeah, I think West Mountains, West Ham Dixon resides from
Yep.
memory. When I moved to Christchurch, he was trying to get me to go out and play for them, but yeah,
Yeah, you don't want to play for those dirty bastards.
No, I was in living in Rickett, and I ended up playing for Christchurch.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, we won the Div 2 over Lincoln, which was quite handy. Yeah.
Yeah, beating Lincoln's always a good feeling, that's for sure.
Yeah, well, that was the year they won. So we were in both finals, the Division 1 and Division 2, and Lincoln absolutely walloped their Division 1s, and then we managed to get it over their Division 2s. So that was quite satisfying the following
Nice.
week. Yeah, but yeah, how did you find the Southland Division 1 competition? They had it running quite well with that Division 1 for a while there.
Honestly, she was pretty fucking rough around the edges, mate.
Well, I played rugby in Northern Rivers, Australia, and I felt like that the only reason people were, part of the team was to have a beer afterwards. Was it a little bit higher standard than that?
It was definitely on par, and it was a bit weird because you'd play the rugby game, and then you'd head into the club rooms, and like everyone would be showered, changed, and then like 6 hours later you'd have the prize giving. It's like, fuck, I am so bored at this point. Like, you guys are all sinking piss and having yarns, and I want to be home. Like, yeah, it was a bit different to Canterbury.
Yeah. And then how does Nashville compare?
Yeah, I mean, it's a different world. It's not grassroots rugby like we're used to. But yeah, I really enjoy it. I mean, you do kind of get put on a pedestal if you're a Kiwi or an Aussie or you're from the UK and you've actually got a sound bit of rugby knowledge about you. They kind of they treat you like you're valuable, and so it is nice to have that sort of treatment. But yeah, I was playing really good footy in 2016. Like 2016, I probably peaked in my senior footy playing days, and yeah, then I went over to Nashville, and I think my playing, like, I dropped to their level.
Mm-hmm.
So like I went from just absolutely dialed rugby to, yeah, maybe a few more tackles around the shoulders and just like poor technique and just, yeah.
What level was Nashville playing?
So they've got a Div 2 men's side and a D1 women's side, and yeah, basically those are the two highest grades for that state. So they don't have Div 1 rugby in that state, but yeah, still super competitive. Big club, and yeah, play all over the place. Tennessee, Mississippi, Alabama, go down to Georgia.
So when you say
Div
1, are you talking about the professional league that they've got going on?
No. So yeah, you've obviously got your major league rugby, which is your professional rugby. So this is just amateur club rugby.
Mm-hmm. And it goes right across those southern states.
Yeah, right across. So we were playing in the True South tournament, which is like, yeah, those southeastern states. But yeah, I mean, rugby's, I'm not sure if it's still the fastest growing sport in the US, but it definitely was when I was there. And yeah, you could go anywhere and play rugby, really.
Yeah.
Depending on the level that you wanted to play at, obviously.
Absolutely. Righto. So shall we dive into this Masters Outback? Can you describe for people that don't know out there what the hell you guys were doing?
Yeah, for sure, man. So for anyone who's not familiar, we ran a backyard ultra marathon, which is a 6.7 kilometer loop race, where you basically race that 6.7 kilometer loop on the hour every hour, and yeah, you continue until there's only one person left. So it might go for 24 hours, or it might go for 5 days, like we did. And yeah, you've got 60 minutes to complete the 6.7 kilometer loop. If you take more than that time, then you get kicked out. And if you are faster than the hour, then whatever time is left, then you've got that time to eat, drink, sit down, chat, recover, and then be ready to go out on the next loop. And the race that we had at Dead Cow Gully, it was the Australian Backyard Masters, which is essentially uh, it's a higher tier of racing. It's, I guess, it's almost like the semis. It's where all of the best runners get invited to, and then a few wild cards, basically with the intention of breaking the world record. So you put all the most competitive people in the area in one spot and give them a pretty reasonably easy course. So not too much climbing, not too much descending, just reasonably flat, so you can do nice fast laps should you choose, and not wear out your body. And yeah, that's what we did. We broke the world record, and went for I went for 101 hours, and then the person that I assisted did 102 hours.
Nice. So I spoke with Ian Evans, and his question was, what have we got to do in New Zealand to get that sort of level? Because how many had you gone before in New Zealand?
How many times have I done this race before?
No, how many times had you gone a relapse? How many times round had you gone before in New Zealand?
Okay. So I
46,
had,
right?
yeah. So my record on New Zealand soil was 46 hours.
Yeah.
And yeah, I mean, most of these things in New Zealand thus far have finished in the 30-hour category, or the 30-something hour category. So
Yeah. And so what have we got to do in New Zealand to go chasing a world record, or would we need to invite some people internationally?
no, people just got to come committed, really. People got to come with that fucking desire and just get shit done.
Mm-hmm. And so I heard you talking that the Riverhead course is a bit hilly and things. We would be the perfect spot in New Zealand for that.
Yeah, for sure. So I mean, if we were going to set a world record in New Zealand, I honestly think we could probably do it at the event that they're holding this weekend in Christchurch at the Crazy K's, just because it's very flat. The only problem with the course is it's fucking cold. It's sub-freezing the entire time, and honestly, I think it's possibly the most miserable race I've ever done.
Yeah. So is that a Bottle Lake?
It is, yeah. So it's nice from the fact that it's very flat, and I think there's maybe like 45 meters of vertical for the whole course. Could be even less. Like it's a very flat course. The only problem is it's the middle of winter. It's out by the beach. Most of the races run under the canopy of a pine forest, and so even when the sun comes out during the day, you never defrost. So yeah, you're in freezing temperatures the entire time, and it really is taxing. Like last year, we had 140 entrants or thereabouts, which was almost double any previous lineup in New Zealand. And I usually take that as a pretty good sign of, oh yeah, if you've got good numbers at the start, you're going to go pretty far in the long run. You'll probably have quite a few people left at the 24-hour mark, which is the 100-mile mark, and then that's a pretty good marker of how far you're going to go. And yeah, of those 140 or whatever people that started, come the morning, there was only 7 of us left. So yeah, like just absolutely decimated. And then the 7 of us that were left, like, yeah, they were used and abused. There wasn't too much left of them, and as a result, the lads that were there only made it to the evening before the whole race was done.
How cold were you getting down to in Australia?
Someone said -4.
Okay, right. So you're still dealing with a bit of those elements.
Yeah,
Sorry, you go.
yeah, I mean, fuck, I didn't actually know. I'm glad that nobody told me it was that cold, because yeah, if someone had told me that it was -4, it might not have been, but I heard it after the race. That would have probably sapped my morale a wee bit. because she felt bloody cold, and the night was long and dark and lonely, and she wasn't enjoyable.
Yeah. So do you think if they shifted that Christchurch course to summer, you'd be all right? Like that first week of January, where you might have, at most 20 degrees in the day, and then I don't know, you might only be 6 or so at night. Do you think that'll work?
Well, January, or
So
January's summer.
no, but around Christmas time in Christchurch, it's not
Yeah,
necessarily.
Christmas time in Christchurch can be pretty bloody hot, so you could end up kind of overcorrecting and then cooking everyone. And one of these things on a hot, humid day is actually pretty terrible in itself. And so you want a nice in between, really. The best course that I've run on in New Zealand was where we were on the Satellite Champs in October, out near the Auckland Airport in Puanui. Phenomenal course, like rolling / flat sheep paddocks, mostly grassy, which I think is possibly quite similar to what the Belgians run on, and is what they've set their world record on previously. So there's definitely a lot to be said for that spongy, forgiving surface layer.
Yeah. So I was listening to you on that backyard podcast, and going from 46 and being pretty serious that I'm going to the Masters to break the world record. Where does that sort of confidence come in? Is it a feeling of what you've done that it's just a matter of keeping on going and being with the right people?
Yeah, I guess it's just a belief in my training, knowing that I train at a world-class level. There's no reason why I should expect anything less. At the end of the day, the people that I compete against, they're not gods. They're just they're runners that have trained and they've achieved well over the years. I'm doing exactly the same as what they are, and in a lot of cases, I'm actually doing more than what some of these guys are. So there's no reason why I can't turn up and bang.
Mm-hmm. And so what do you sort of owe your resilience to? Like you've put your body into some weird places, like you were saying last night, your knee and your hip and everything else. You're talking about how you basically ripped your toe off one time. You ran Riverhead with broken ribs. Like, why does that not completely break you? And how do you manage to continue to put in such big hours and time in the legs to show up to something like this?
Yeah, for sure. So I've said this a few times, and I'll say it again. I have dabbled in this realm for long enough that I guess I have a different understanding of pain to your average Joe. It's not that I can endure more pain. It's that I don't see a hole in my foot or a busted knee or a busted Achilles or stuffed hips as pain. I just see that as discomfort.
Mm-hmm.
I see true pain as emotional loss. It's the loss of a loved one. It's grief. It's anguish. It's felt in the heart and in the soul. And if you've endured some shit in life and some really tough times, and no level of discomfort of the body can compare to true pain in the soul and in the heart. And I just go back to that and like this is nothing. Like I've endured some fucking horrible stuff, so like just carry on, man.
Yeah. Are you able to speak to that? Like, I know you've joined up with I Am Hope. Like, what's your relationship and feeling there? And like you say, this pain stuff.
Yeah, no, totally, man. So I mean, I advocate for mental health through activity, through sport. I think it's one of the best medicines for mental health, and I've definitely applied that for myself probably since I was about 17, 18. Rather than going to a doctor and them telling you that you're depressed and then giving you pills and shit, I've just run, and I've I've managed my moods, I've managed my feelings through sport, and been pretty damn successful on it. As far as tough times that I've been through, yeah. Not that I'm saying I've been through the toughest of times, but yeah, I've definitely been through some sad times. I draw on the fact that I've done so much long distance with my now wife Anna. We met just before COVID, and then yeah, we did 6 months of not seeing each other, and that was pretty terrible. And we said, "Oh shit, we'll never do that again." And then we met up in America, and that's when we got engaged, spent a little bit of time together. And then I came back to New Zealand, and we didn't see each other for 12 months straight. And fuck, that was some emotional agony. At the same time as us jumping into a relationship, I had been with a employer that maybe taken advantage of me a bit, and really kind of put me through the ringer. And yeah, I mean, that was nearly 3 years of just getting my ass kicked and being made to feel pretty fucking small. And yeah, I survived in spite of all the bullshit there. And I just throw a big fucking middle finger to everybody who jumped on the bandwagon and yeah, made me feel not very worthy of life. So yeah, and I guess yeah, I've had a couple of employers along the way that have been pretty shit ass. So it's yeah, it's pretty criminal what certain employers can get away with in this world, especially I feel like in New Zealand and maybe Australia, uh, taking advantage of their employees, and as a result, we've got a pretty terrible mental health crisis. So yeah, I live on in spite of that, and I guess in a way I'm a champion for the people who have been downtrodden.
So do you feel that sort of really makes you question your self-worth when you're turning up to a job or whatever and giving it your all, and just being made to be belittled and you know not worthy of attention or worthy of undervalued is probably the term there. How does that sort of play on you?
Oh hell yeah, man! Fuck yeah, you question your self-worth in a big way. I guess as I've got closer to 30, I've ironically, yeah, just started to give less of a fuck of what people think about me, and I just charge on and shine my own light. And yeah, that's something that's kind of given me success over the last couple of years.
Yeah, nice. And so you've actually quit your job, right? Lately?
Yeah, right. Yeah, a month out of the job. I just received my final pay packet yesterday, so ties cut. I'm out of there.
Yeah. And you're going to go to the States? Do you have a plan?
I'm just doing some interviews at the moment. Don't want to jump into anything that I'm going to regret. So, yeah, got some good savings at the moment, and I'm just kind of working through with some sponsors to see if essentially they would allow me to focus on the running leading into the World Championship, and
Mm-hmm.
and then possibly putting a caveat on that as to with my plan to win bigs in October, that would give me a golden ticket to the Barclay around March next year. So yeah, shit, if I could get like 6-ish months of funding to allow me to take my running full time, then that would be ideal. So I'm just kind of working through that at the moment, but at the same time doing a couple of interviews and just seeing kind of if there's something that ticks the boxes and allows me to operate in a happy professional manner, and also allow me to do the running and push that as well.
Nice. So what and where is Biggs?
So Biggs Backyard is the OG backyard race. It's held by Lazarus Lake, who's the guess the godfather of weird shit and ultra marathon running. He started the Barkley marathons, and he started the whole backyard ultra format. And the Big's Backyard race is the world championship, and it's held on his farm in Bell Buckle, Tennessee, which is only an hour down the road from where I used to live. So, looking forward to a bit of a homecoming, really.
Yeah, and is your wife in Nashville, or where is she?
Yeah, so I met my wife in Nashville. She's now living with me here in New Zealand. So, yeah, ideally, we'd be able to spend the month of October in the US, kind of just seeing mates, seeing family, prepping for the World Championship, and then having a bit of a hoolie out in the paddock.
So what is the ideal sort of prep and journey look like? How long would you want to be in the States leading into that event? What would be the most beautiful, scenario be?
Well, I mean, like, America's like a second home for me. So realistically, I would love to be there for a month. Kind of just from a holiday standpoint. Like, I'd love to go over there, allow my wife to spend some time with her family. Maybe go to a place that me and her have never been together before. Like, we've both been to Manhattan, but it'd be nice to spend a week in Manhattan just eating and sightseeing and shit. And then probably spend a couple of weeks in Tennessee. Me visiting all my rugby amigos, and her hanging out with her pals, and just kind of enjoying our life that we've kind of built in Tennessee, that we've left behind. And we went back in February/March this year for my sister-in-law's wedding in Florida, and then we spent a couple of weeks or a week or so in Middle Tennessee, which is where Nashville is. And like, we both cried when we left there, so it's got a special place in our hearts. And looking forward to getting back there.
So holistically, does that sort of mean that all the sort of stress and tension of life is not there, and so it's just like enjoyment and training?
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah, straight up.
Yeah, nice. So how do you attack nutrition on this stuff?
Yeah, good question. Variation and consistency, basically. Variation from the standpoint of I eat a fuckload of different stuff. Noodles, crackers, chips, bacon egg pie, Uncle Ben's rice, a bit of baking, a bit of this, bit of that, along with sports drinks, which might be Gatorade or Pure or Tailwind or something, and I'm basically smashing that sports drink consistently, one bottle every hour, and then also putting food down the trap consistently every hour, basically. So I'm getting at least 40 gram of carbohydrate per hour, up to around 90 gram of carbohydrate per hour. However, once you get up to that end, you're maybe getting to the point where your system isn't digesting it, and then you end up with a bit of GI discomfort. So it's just a bit of a balancing act of what you can digest versus how hungry you are. And I just try not to miss an hour at all, because once you start going into a bit of a debt, especially on the carbohydrate front, or getting dehydrated, that's when the wheels start to fall off.
Yeah, and the food aspect, what is that mouthfeel? What is it? Like you say, a bit of variation. Is that what is providing you?
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah, just like, you're just trying to go there with enough different options that when someone sticks something in your face and you tell them to fuck off, that the next thing they stick in your face you actually eat. Because I'll go off many different options within the race, and the key thing is just having something there that seems tasty or seems viable. There are a couple of, like, Pascal's jelly gems, which I don't think we have here in New Zealand. They're basically like little red licorice bullets that are covered in soft soft milk chocolate. Fuck, I must have eaten about 5 bags of them.
And like you say, you're in a point, what'd you say, 5 days, basically without sleep. You're at a point where you've got no filter and you're telling people to fuck off. And,
Oh yeah.
you in your case, you're coughing up your lungs and people are trying to tell you, Sam, have you thought about stopping? And you're again saying, no, fuck off. How do you all become friends at the end of it?
Um,
Is there a bit of healing afterwards? Like not just physically, but emotionally?
no, I mean, like, fuck, you wouldn't be in my camp if you were a soft cunt. Um, my my family are all good sorts, and I give them a hug the morning of the race when we're getting shit ready, and I'm just to say I apologize for the things that I'm going to say when I'm tired, and they give me a hug back, and they're like, yeah, we know it's going down. It's business time. Like it's just part of the process.
Yeah. I've got Father Concords in my head. Yeah, you're a bit more heavy than Father Concords in your earbuds there, Sam.
Yeah.
Yeah, you said that at Riverhead you listened to the Luke Coombs podcast, 3 hours worth.
Oh yeah, that was tasty. That was a fucking good episode, man.
Yeah, did you catch the OCD bit? Find that pretty fascinating and sort of think that must be how he writes such epic songs.
Oh yeah, it's been a minute, so I've forgotten a wee bit of it. I was just kind of balls deep when he got into the mountain lion hunting,
Yeah,
killing stuff. It kind of it struck a tune with me.
and so is Nashville very much whitetail sort of place?
Yeah, so I got a buddy Wayman. He's big on his archery, and he shoots quite a lot of whitetail around that area. We also have a lot of wild turkeys roaming around the place. What else do we have? Yeah, lot of whitetail and turkey for the most part. Coyotes. Uh, yeah, I can't really think of anything else. A lot of doves. Got a buddy Hollis who's big into his dove shooting.
And is that swamp country? Is that in there for duck shooting and stuff like that?
Yeah, there's a mix. Middle Tennessee has a lot of rivers, so yeah, river type deal, which then leads into to swamp land.
Yeah, I love watching those ones shoot amongst the willows that are just like full of water, and yeah, they call in the ducks and go from there. It's pretty cool
Yeah.
looking hunting. Like I've only sort of been duck shooting a couple of times, and I quite like jumping dams and stuff like that. I sort of think that shooting those willows in the swamps would be pretty fun like that.
Oh yeah, I can imagine.
Yeah, and so like with the rugby side, and you did some boxing too. Like you boxed reasonably light though, right, Sam?
What as far as weight division?
Weight division, yeah.
Yeah, I fought at welterweight for a few years, so under 69 kilos.
Yeah. So how have you sort of changed and adapted your body composition? You had that photo with your shirt off the other day.
Yeah, well, I mean, I guess if you don't use it, you lose it. And I certainly don't do much upper body work anymore. I'm not lifting weights, and I'm not hitting the bag, and I'm not sparring. So yeah, my shoulders and my biceps and my triceps have all kind of disappeared, and yeah, I assume my body has just repartitioned that muscle tissue down into my legs, where it can be used.
So do you know what you're weighing at the moment?
Well, I weighed 66 kilos 2 days after the race, so I would have been very interested to see what I was weighing immediately after the race. But yeah, normally I float around about 70 kilos when I'm training properly. Yeah, maybe 68 kilos, but yeah, 66 kilos is pretty damn light for me.
Yeah, yeah. And so what do you do to sort of maintain structure or balance out such big hours running?
Just eat like a motherfucker.
just eating. So eating and
Yeah.
running.
Yeah, bro, just eating and running.
Yeah, and sleeping. Fuck. So what is that's basically the extent of recovery as well. Do you are you massaging or are you what does stretching or massage self massaging look like? Do you do any of that?
Yeah, trying to stretch as much as possible. Not that I'm very good at that. I don't think there's many people in our sport that are very good at keeping up on their stretching, but my wife's very into her yoga, so yeah, she's quite often stretching, and then that guilt trips me into stretching. So I'm probably better than most, at least. And then yeah, try and do a bit of self massage at home. Also have a professional cupping set, and me and the wife will cup each other. So I look like I've been attacked by an octopus half the time, but at least that allows me to get the cups on the back, relieve a bit of pressure. And then I'll put cups on my glutes and my IT bands and shit. And yeah, not saying that there's a silver bullet or anything, but yeah, if you can do as many things to point you in the right direction of progress, then that's all that counts. So yeah, it's just one little thing in my arsenal.
Have you done that since the race?
Not in New Zealand, but my cousin is actually a professional masseuse, and she came out to Nanango. She came out to Dead Gully and did a bit of work on me during the race, and then afterwards on I think it was on the Saturday, went around to her place in Brisbane and she threw the cups on and she did a bit of work on my back. So yeah, I have I've had a bit of work since the race, which has been cool.
Yeah, what was her analysis of the state of you?
I have the tightest TFL that she has ever encountered. I was like, hey, I'm number one.
Yeah, mate. Got second in the run, but I'm number one now. Oh, golly. So, what happened with the lungs once you stopped and slept and fed and all that sort of stuff? Did they just come right? Like your immune system got back on top of it, or have you had some lingering sickness?
Yeah, I've still got like a bit of blood in my mucus at the moment, but not too bad. And then I've obviously got a raspy voice, but it doesn't help that I've got a torn larynx from about a year ago that hasn't really healed. But yeah, it's been coming right. Like obviously, like you're pretty smashed after the race. So like me and Harvey, and I don't know about the others, but me and Harvey basically like had a permanent nosebleed for like the next 3 days, and yeah, that would come and go right up until kind of like yesterday, the nosebleed. Because I was like constantly blowing shit out my lungs. I'd melted all of the skin off like the surrounds of my nose. So like all of my nostrils looked like I'd been on a freaking coke binge or something. Like I did, it looked very bad. And like my mum / my wife, well, no, my mum was kind of apprehensive of taking me out in public just because like there was just so much blood around my nose and like in my moustache.
I
But
wonder what that is. Just probably like uric and lactic acid build up. Just like it's you wonder how like is your blood thick or thin? Yeah, I don't know how that would all work, but yeah, it's probably acidic, like you say.
yeah, well, I mean, like you think of it when you've got a runny nose and you're wiping your nose all the time, and then your nose gets raw. It's the same as that, except just on steroids, really.
And you've got all this leaching of salts and stuff as well. Fuck.
Yeah. It's not good, and it's not a good look. It's only in the last maybe day or two that the surrounds of my nostrils has actually kind of not been loose skin, kind of all falling off and blood stained. So yeah, we're on the way up, I guess.
Yeah, 5-day bender. There you go. So you brought up Harvey Lewis there. Was it the two Harveys versus Phil Gore, or like what was the banter out there the last three?
Yeah, you probably hit the nail on the head there. Me and old Harvey, we've got a pretty awesome friendship going on. That yeah, you would have thought we'd known each other for years, but yeah, things just clicked out there, and we put our heads down and teamed up and helped each other out there, making sure each other had his head screwed on straight, even when he was falling off the wagon. And yeah.
And was it the name, or was it the American links? Where in America is he from?
He's from Cincinnati, Ohio, which is like it's only a few hours from like where I used to live slash where my wife's from. So yeah, he's in the area.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, because usually it's the Aussie and New Zealand, but I suppose you're in Australia. Not like you guys had the laser beamed Kiwi, right, to shoot some cattle, and didn't say you wanted to like have it a swarm of Kiwis attacking some wallabies and kangaroos and stuff.
Yeah,
You were going there with a bit of mongrel in your stride.
oh, absolutely. That was my original idea, but Sean went and did the design, and yeah, saved me a lot of work, which was cool. So yeah, the laser eye Kiwi killing the deep cow. That was a nice design. I was so proud of the design. I'd finally picked up all the shirts the day before I flew out for the race, and so I'd been wearing mine, and and I went to bed and I threw it next to the bed and got up, went to Australia, and fucking everybody lined up on the line with their shirts, and I was like, I'm pretty sure I've left my t-shirt in New Zealand.
How many changes of clothes do you need? How many changes of socks and like fuck?
A heck of a lot. A heck of a lot.
Excess
Yeah,
excess baggage. What's this for? Oh, one race.
pretty much. So, but yeah, next time we'll have the swarm of Kiwis
Yeah.
ravaging the wallabies and the kookaburras and the whatevers.
Yeah. So what is the mind game like on course? Like, you know, it must vary depending on who's out there and how many people are out there. But like when you're down to three and then you're down to the two of you, like, what do you have to make an agreement? Do you have to you still had a target to go once Harvey had left. So how did that go?
Yeah, I don't know. Phil was kind of doing his own thing the whole race. I did ask if he could run with me in the last couple of hours of the final night, just because fucking shit out there, man. Like, it's cold, it's dark, it's lonely. You're running an out and back on a bloody bitumen road. Like, there's nothing pretty about the night loop out there. And yeah, I asked for a bit of company. So the last two loops before the sun came up, Phil ran with me, and yeah, then once the sun came up, we did our own thing up until I had my medical event, and then they said they basically said at 95 that I had to call it quits, and I said no, that I was there for the world record, and they allowed me to continue on the premise that that Phil would kind of run near me to make sure I didn't collapse and die out on the course, and but that I also had to hang my head up once I'd got to the world record of 101, which would, if I then quit after that, allow Phil to do the world record. So yeah, I figured I'll get him to the world record at least, and then we've come and done what we set out to achieve, and yeah.
Because you took off on lap 102.
I started lap 102 and then turned around because I wasn't going to not start.
Yeah. And so was that the thinking? He's got to start, and I'll go with him, and then that'll be that.
Yeah, well, basically that I had promised my mum and I promised the race organizer and all that that I wouldn't carry on after lap 101. So Phil lined up for lap 102. I lined up with him. I took off and then I stopped, went back and called it a day.
And then he came around and that was that. Fucking hell. Gnarly to think, did like obviously you're going to do it again and you're doing it more. Do you know? I guess it's just out there, isn't it? It's you're now in the uncharted territory, and it's what is capable. Is that right?
Yeah, I mean, absolutely. And shit, like yes, I did have a couple of little problems, but there was a hell of a lot left in the tank. So yeah, I wanna take that current world record and rip its head off and make it my bitch and absolutely redefine what we can do with this kind of racing. Got big plans for this race in October.
And any ideas of what happened to your lungs? Like just simply virus got the better of you?
Yeah, well, I mean, I had a cold leading into it, and then I think maybe a combination of the hot, dry air on the Saturday, plus the cold air on the Saturday night, and also, yeah, I mean, you're running and running hampers your immune system. But yeah, basically by Saturday night, I was just like coughing up and snorting up these like knuckle-sized pieces of dark green shit, and that cleared by the Sunday. And I thought I was in the clear, but then Sunday night it just came back, and yeah, I continued to snort up and cough up blood slash big chunks of dark green phlegm throughout the race. And yeah, when I collapsed on the Wednesday morning, the doctor flicked a stethoscope on my lungs, and he said he could hear right side pneumonia.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, I guess the cold had progressed into pneumonia, and yeah, I'd ravaged my lungs a wee bit. Caused a heck of a lot of inflammation from probably coughing and sneezing up all that shit. And yeah, I don't know, maybe that inflammation was limiting my oxygen uptake. I'm not sure, but yeah, it definitely made breathing harder, and it also made it feel as though, like, when I was breathing, when I was sucking in a big deep lung of air, I wasn't quite getting the satisfaction of like feeling like I was getting the oxygen.
Yeah. So obviously, as we spoke about before, the plan would be to be in the States for a good month. But if you could do this differently, what would you have allowed yourself to do?
Good question.
Because you rocked over the day before, right?
I did.
But
Yeah,
you said you were already sick the week before, right?
yeah, I already had a cold, but no, I wouldn't really do much different. I'm pretty happy with the result. I mean, if I could do anything different, I would have told everybody to get fucked when they tried to pull me out of the race. Yeah, like I would have, if I could do it again, I would have just done that lap 102, and then I would have carried on, and we would have just seen what happened. I mean, unless I really kind of couldn't run or walk anymore, then I mean, if you can start a lap, then finish that lap, and if you can finish that lap, then start the next lap, and you just carry on until one of those doesn't compute.
Oh, right. That's crazy. Yeah, in such a good way. Yeah. No, it's interesting with the I am hope thing. Not to belittle anybody out there, but crikey, this is really pushing the boundaries. And so, have you figured out how to push David Goggins' buttons yet? Have you been able to crack that one?
I'm actually due to hit old mate up sometime this evening, so I'll send Princess a message after this.
Yeah. So is that like a daily task of trying to get in contact?
I don't quite have the energy to be hitting them up on the daily, but yeah, I try to be as consistent as I can to just kind of wind them up a little bit, and one day I'll get a bite, and yeah,
So when you say princess, who are you talking about there?
Goggins.
You are talking about them specifically. Oh, you'll love it. You'll love it. Princess. Yeah. Like what
Little boat carrying bitch.
yeah, but what tactics have you tried?
I just tag him in videos, tag him in pictures to wind him up. Tell him. I basically give him a countdown. I was like, you've got X many months left to qualify. You've got 5 months left to qualify. You've got 4 months left to qualify. And then I sometimes I tag Cam Haynes and say, you're going to give your buddy a kick and get him into gear.
Would Cam do a backyard as well, do you reckon? Or
I feel like I might have more luck getting Cam to do it.
yeah. And so where would they qualify now at this point in time?
Yeah, there's plenty of races out there. You'd probably just have to find one where they've made it clear that they want to qualify for bigs, and that I guess for them it would be a race that's being run in the US on an easier course that maybe has some bigger dogs turning up wanting to throw down.
Yeah. Who would you rather meet?
I don't really care, to be honest. It's all just a bit of shit banter, to be fair.
Absolutely. And it's like obviously you're baiting him, but do you think it'll be a bit more genuine in person, obviously?
I reckon if old Goggins turns up and he shrieked at me like he does down the camera, I'd probably drop a nut.
Who's going to carry the boats? I am.
I'll carry the boat, sir. Where do you want them?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yeah. Oh, shit, Sam. No, I hope that does come true. We'll have to clip this and see if the universe can turn it around. I don't know. No, too good. Sweet, man. I'll let you get on with recovering. Are you gonna run? Are you gonna run this weekend?
Fuck yeah, I'm gonna run this weekend, G. Let's go.
Well, it's going to be retrospective this episode, so people will have already known the answer to that. So that's cool. But yeah, oh, you're awesome, Sam. Where do people find you, brother? Yeah, grow the support for fulfilling these dreams.
No worries, bro. So yeah, probably if people want to link up with me, the best place is on Instagram. My handle is cloudlander_NZ. I've also got a Sam Harvey athlete page on Facebook. And then while I'm at it, I should probably just do a cheeky sponsor plug.
Yeah, mate.
Just for the people that have been supporting me. So first and foremost, I've been using Curran's capsules. So they're black currant capsules from the Canterbury Plains for the last few months, and that's basically been to maximize my recovery. They've been pretty pivotal in allowing me to train and race and recover at the level that I do. So yeah, that's Curran's. Also, Base Pizza down in Christchurch. They're my OG guys. They've been looking after me since 2018. Yeah, if you want good wood-fired pizza and you're in Christchurch, head down to Base. They will look after you. Secondly, the Crank House Bicycle Studio. They've been looking after me for all of my bicycle needs. They're based in Hornby down in Christchurch. Also, Off-Piste Provisions. They've been providing me for a few months now with plant-based jerky and pork crackling. And damn, like I'm a stone cold meat eater. Like I'm not about that hippie vegan stuff, but damn, these guys have got a good product, and I highly rate them. So I'm very pleased to have Off-Piste in my stable and looking after me on the protein front. And yeah, then lastly, I'd just like to shout out I Am Hope and Gumbert Friday. I'm an ambassador for them now, and yeah, I think my charity's just gone up to almost $20,000 raised.
Wow.
As of last night or the night before, had a massive donor come through and smash 10 grand in one hit in the kitty. So yeah, very very happy on that front.
That's beautiful. Well done. Yeah, epic work, Sam. Mate, the final question I throw out there is what keeps you in flow? Like, fuck, there's how the hell do you do it, man? What do you have, like a mantra or a way that you live your life, or a quote that spins around in your head and allows you to just keep going and keep thriving?
Yeah, I mean, there's probably no one correct answer for that. It's a mosaic of multiple different things that I draw on. I draw on family. I draw on the people that I'm now, I guess, inspiring. I've had a lot of people reach out to me and say how much this has affected their life, what I'm doing has affected their life, and yeah, I think about them, and I think about if I fuck up or if I fail, then I'm not failing me, I'm failing them. Probably two things that I would like to maybe mention in this is it's something that the first one is something that I created at the October Satellite Champs. So that was the national championship that was run at the same time as everybody else. So it was the World Championship. And I just said to myself, for my family, for those that were, and then I pictured in my head my great nana and my grandpa and my great grandfather. For those that are, and I pictured my mom and my dad and my brothers and my wife, and then I said, and then for those yet to be, and I pictured my wife and myself holding a baby, and yeah, basically, I basically said in that moment that I was honoring those that had come before me and those that were there with me, and those that were gonna one day take inspiration from my actions, and that's who I was there for. That gave me a smile or a tear, and that allowed me to carry on harder. So that's something that I've used in the past. And then from this particular race, I came up with this phrase: "This is the most important. This may be the most important thing you ever do. If you give up now, every single action leading up to this point will have been for nothing. So just get it done."
Cool. I love the pressure of that, and I love the sort of responsibility for it as well. That's really cool, and such a there'll be people out there listening to that'll challenge them a lot, because like why are we doing all the things we're doing, and it is for moments like that, like to go out there and execute. That's fucking cool, Sam. Thank you for sharing that. That's awesome, man. Right, we'll wrap it up there. Hopefully a few more people jump on board, Sam, and hear about this and just go, I'm a mere mortal out there. And the beautiful thing about this is so are you, and so it just really highlights how capable we can be if we put it in like that. It's bloody awesome. This podcast is life less ordinary, and showing people that so much more is possible than just ordinary doldrums going through life. So that's really awesome. Thank you so much, Sam.
No worries, though, Ryan. I very much appreciate it.